Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to talk about how to stay motivated and productive while working on your comic. I think both motivated and productive go hand in hand, so you stay productive if you stay motivated. I have actual points for you that I think gonna impact your productivity and your motivation, or rather they will help you to not get demotivated, and as a result of this you're hopefully gonna be more productive. So it's not gonna be about how to do it physically, it's all about more like a mental state that you have to be in and how to be in the proper motivated, chill mental space to keep working on your comic and complete it. My first tip would be, don't think about big picture. I know when we start working on a project, especially if the project like a big one, for example, like mine, my comic is very long. It's gonna take me years to complete. Years. So when your project is this long, it's very important to not think about the whole project overall when you're zoomed in and working, for example, on one page. Of course, you have to keep it all in mind when you're creating plot for your chapters, kind of outlining the structure of your arcs and whatnot. However, when you're zoomed in, that I think can be very detrimental. Big picture is very seducing. It's very nice to look about big picture and think on and on and on about how the whole story gonna wrap up, what reveal is gonna happen in chapter 75, how characters gonna react when this character dies, what will happen when this character gets injured, oh my god, what will happen when they realize they are brother and sister, I don't know, for example. That's a weird point. Obviously, the biggest impact of the story is in the end of the story, because at this point you're backed up on everything you built already by this point. However, it's also very addictive to keep thinking about it and then look back where you're like at chapter 1 and be like, oh, this cool stuff is so far away, like when am I gonna get to this? It's gonna be hard, and then you don't want to actually go and draw chapter 1, you want to go and daydream about chapter 57, for example, because it's easy, you get this payoff and whatnot. Because frankly, stories kind of have the same impact on the writer as they do on the reader. Or reader reads them and likes them and connects to characters, but so is the writer, like X 10, 100, you know. We really love our characters, we really love our stories, we like everything that we create, we wanna rewatch it as a movie in our head again and again, we're gonna think about it again and again, and we wanna get to the best stuff. That's cool, but it's detrimental. So when you zoomed into the chapter 1, or like you zoomed into the page level, don't think about bigger picture, don't think about chapters way ahead, don't think about any of this. Your focus should be how to make this page work, how to draw this leg really well, how to draw this hair really nicely, how I have to link it to the previous page and to the next page. Be zoomed in mentally as well when you're working on it. Don't think about bigger picture. My second tip would be not quite a tip telling you what to do, but more like truth that I need to tell you. When you have a project and you're passionate about the project, passion is not what finishes projects. What finishes project is butt hours. Butt hours, it's a term from Oxford English Dictionary, which basically means hours that you spend sitting on your chair and doing the work. I'm joking, but I'm also serious. What completes the work is you doing the work. Passion is not what drives it, and I would say passion is also can be detrimental. For example, kind of linked to the previous example that I just gave. If you're thinking about your story far away and you're excited and passionate about what's gonna happen, this is not gonna help you to complete the page. Completing the page is actually a very monotone job, that is very mechanical job, you're just completing the task. Passion at this moment can actually distract you and make you question your existence, be like, oh my god, why I'm doing this, when I want to do this, even though this and this is the same thing. Don't fuel yourself with passion. Approach your work as more like meditation type of vibe. You go there, you sit, you relax, you just keep doing it. Don't hype yourself up for this. Do this for the writing process. When you're writing, when you're thinking about new ideas that you want to do, this is where you have to hype yourself up, but not when you're actually drawing pages, because this is going to be detrimental. You need to be focused and chill and relaxed and not super excited actually. Be calm. Don't get too hyped up when it comes to actually completing page after page after page. My next tip would be distract yourself with something else while you're working. There are pages that are really interesting to draw, and sometimes there are pages that you should just need to complete. Usually for me personally, it's like the last pages of the scene, not like the last chronologically because I draw them all like at the same time. It's like the last that are not finished, and usually there is a reason why they're the last that are not finished. Usually they're more boring than the others, or they have too many elements. Like for example, all the others you see fields and forests and skies and whatnot, and I just have to draw one character in each frame. But for example, for those last pages, there's like a crowd of people and I have to draw. I know it's work excessive and I'm postponing and putting it, you know, living it to the last. And when the time comes to do it, I don't want to do it anymore because now I have this next scene that literally happens after I finish this page, but I still have to complete those last pages. So basically, you will have to complete a lot of stuff and get it done that is not that exciting at all. It's not gonna be torture, but it's not gonna be crazy exciting. So that's absolutely normal. To motivate yourself to work on them, add some other activity on top. For example, you can listen to audiobooks, that's what I do, or you can listen to YouTube, that's what I do. If you've seen my video about my Photoshop setup, I'm gonna link it down below somewhere. I'm gonna link it. You can see that I usually have a YouTube minimized on the left bottom side of my screen, and the point is there, like, I watch videos. So for example, if I have to complete those pages when stuff gets really boring, I get entertained by the YouTube or the audiobook that I'm listening. It keeps me excited, and sometimes where I go home, for example, from my day job and I have to work on my comic, or I wake up and I have to work on my comic, if currently I'm working on something that is not like calling me and I'm absolutely not like thrilled to work on it, YouTube video will call me. I was like, oh, I didn't watch the YouTube video by so-and-so that I really want to watch. I'm like, well, you watch it while you're drawing. Okay, cool. That's what I do. That could be a helpful tip to help you get through more of the boring drawing parts. My next tip would be work on this regularly and like underline, stress with all caps, bold it, because it's very important. It's a routine for your brain. It's a routine for your hands. I can't tell if I'm not drawing my comic regularly, my speed goes down. I take a little bit more time to think about colors. I'm thinking a little bit more time about deciding which stroke to make. When I'm doing it regular, it's fast, very fast. I feel more at ease and my hands work better, like connection between my brain, my eyes and my hands is better. So I can complete work faster and it takes me no time to start working and it comes easy. However, if I take breaks, for example, I recently had to work on a freelance where I had to draw in a little bit different style and it was very time consuming, so I had to put my comic on pause a little bit more, like for a month. So when I got back to it, my hands felt a little rubbery because I didn't do it day after day after day after day. I'm not telling that you have to do it every day. Actually, don't be super harsh about this, but do it regularly. If you go to a computer and today you can just open it and do a little bit, do it. If it doesn't hurt, do it. Because trust me, your productivity will go up, your skill will go up, and actually as you do this, your skill gonna sharpen, you're gonna be more familiar with the style that you are using in your comic, more familiar with all the drawing procedures, everything that you're doing. It does get a little dusty. I can tell that even if like 3 days I'm not working, I can tell that it's not that sharp. Like my skill is not that sharp. It's not like noticeable, I think, to anybody but me, but it's important. It's noticeable to you. Is it a little more difficult to draw today? Or are you like on top of your game, you're just drawing as much as possible? Try to draw as often as you can and as regular as you can. Another tip would be switch within your tasks. Switch between what you're doing within your comic drawing process. In Russia we have a saying, I'm not sure if it exists in English. It goes like this: the best rest is the change of activity. What I mean by this, switch between the tasks. For example, you're drawing, you feel a little tired mentally, switch, do something else. What helps me? I switch between the pages. I switch between the frames. I don't tell myself I have to finish it and then I have to go to the next one. If I feel that I'm starting to slow down, I'm getting a little bored, I'll switch the page. I'll switch, for example, my task. For example, now I'm drawing character, I will switch to working on a background. Or now I'm completing chapter 7, I will switch to outlining chapter 8. If I feel a little bit of this feeling, I will switch around. And actually, I think it's a very good productivity tip, because I remember when I was finishing my university, I had a lot on my plate. I had to finish my university, which was like architecture in industrial design, it's pretty complicated. It has a lot of math, it has a lot of modeling, we did a lot of blueprints, a lot of drawing, all of that. Plus, I was doing first chapter of my comic back then, and I was doing freelance, and I had to complete 6 illustrations in like a couple months. I had a lot of stuff on my plate. So what I would do, I would put a timer on 1 hour, and after timers goes off, I switch my tasks. For example, I would work 1 hour on my university studies, then I would work 1 hour on the illustration that I need to complete for the client. Then I would work 1 hour on my own stuff, and then I will switch and switch and switch. And you don't feel tired if you do it like this, and every time you go to the new task, you have new bursts of energy. I'm not going to go this extreme with your comic. I was in a stressful situation when I have to complete stuff for client, earn money, complete my university, so I can go to Canada. So I was a little bit on edge. But it can be a good tip if you are busy, or if you have a lot of stuff in your life that you are juggling, or it can be a good overall tip how to speed up within your comic. Switch around, switch your tasks. So I believe it will help your productivity a lot. Just try it out. Switch within your tasks. Switch between what you're doing within your comic drawing process. My next tip would be allow yourself to take breaks. Don't force yourself. If you feel like you're actually tired and you want to relax, allow yourself 5-minute break. Allow yourself 15 minutes break. Sometimes I would just go and, chill, like watch pictures, go on Pinterest, do weird stuff. Don't drown in this, but it's totally fine to go and do it for 15 minutes, a little bit, and then go back to work. I personally believe it's better to take little breaks here and there than to burn yourself out. Because if you burn yourself out, it takes longer to recover from it. However, if you take a little breaks, what is like 15 minutes, 5 minutes here and there between the tasks, it's totally fine. It's gonna get you more excited to go back to drawing because you can get this break, you get this distance, and then you come back. It's more interesting because you had this little moment apart from your comic, from your creation. Also, don't be too harsh on yourself in that regard. If you feel like having a little break, have a little break. Go grab coffee, go make yourself some tea, go take a shower, I don't know, play with your dog, do something, brush your hair, apply, moisturizer to your face. Any of this will do. If you feel like doing it, do it. Another tip that really motivates me personally is keeping track of your progress. In my video, when I show my Photoshop setup, you saw I have Agenda app. Over there, when I track my progress, I track how much pages I do per month. I track how much pages I completed per chapter, or how much at work and how much needed to be completed. By the way, this app that I showed you crashed and seems to be really broken on my computer. I called Apple and they can't explain why. I have to find alternative. I love this app. I also lost the data. I'm gonna find an alternative. You can use whatever helps you. For example, you can have your agenda somewhere, you can have your planner. If you're into planning, you can have just, digital kind of progress keeping, progress recording, stuff, whatever it is, notes on your phone. When you see how much you're completing, actually you understand your speed, you understanding your progress, it motivates you to complete more. For example, like today, for example, is January 22nd, and you know that last month you completed 5 pages and this month you completed 4 pages. It will motivate you to just get another page done. And also it will help you to understand that you're actually doing a lot. Even, for example, sometimes you keep working and it doesn't feel like you're progressing. It's very good to revisit and actually see the milestones that you hit, like pages that you completed and then you checked off from your list. You can actually see that you're progressing. And sometimes, I know creating a comic can be a very slow process and sometimes you feel like you're not moving anywhere. However, when you're tracking your progress, it can help you to actually see that you're actually progressing and feel good, and it might help you keep going with more enthusiasm. And my last tip for today would be, don't try to make it perfect. Art will never be perfect. Never. I think there is no way to ever complete your work of art and be like, it's perfect, it's the best thing I've ever completed. I don't think it's possible. If you're an artist who thinks it's possible, let me know how you're achieving this. But basically, I believe that's just how it is. It can never be as good as it is in our heads. And with every work, we just learn to make it better and better and better, by which I mean to actually translate what is in our vision better. It's very important for finishing even like just standalone pictures to know where to stop. Be like, okay, you know what? It's completed. It's completed. I know it technically can be improved more and more and more, but it's in this case you will just keep going in circles. At some point it might be like, okay, this picture is complete. However, everything that I still think that I can improve, I can improve in my next one. That's how, for example, I think when I work on just standalone pictures, let alone comic pages. Comic pages, they're not the story. They're not complete story. The complete story is complete story. If you don't get past 1 page, 2 pages, your story will never be told. It's just pieces in the canvas of your story. So it's very important for you to not try to hit perfection when you're working on them. You work on them, you do your best job, you make sure they're consistent, they're solid, all the grammar with perspective, anatomy, and everything is there, style is there, everything is correct, your characters look the way they should look, they look like themselves from the previous page, and they match the rest of the story. And when it's done, you move on. You be like, you know what? It's done. You go to the next one. Obviously, I'm not telling you to do a bad job on your comic. However, the point is to complete your pages. Your pages have to be completed. If, for example, you think that your level is not yet where you want it to be, still go complete the pages. People will see that your next chapter is better, and then your next chapter is better, and your next chapter is better. Just striving for perfection sometimes can be really, really destructive and can really slow you down, and sometimes can really stop project from happening. It's okay if it's not perfect. Do it as good as you can at this point with reasonable speed, and then move on to the next chapter. For myself, in my head, there is always like a snap of the finger. As I'm drawing, it's always Is it done? Is it done? Is it done? Next, 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 next. Comics will be more stylized and will have less work than complete painting would be. It's just reasonable because we have to sacrifice some sort of detailization to get things done, because page of the comic is not the complete piece. It's like a tiny drop in the ocean of your story. The ultimate goal is to complete your page and complete your chapter, because if you don't do this, your story will not exist. So I think that's worse than having imperfect page. So those are my tips for now. I hope they were helpful. Sorry for the background noise. My dog is really excited about my socks. My grandma made them for me. They look super awesome, but also my dog thinks it's a toy. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful to you. And if you have productivity and motivational tips of your own, please leave them below. Let's get the conversation going. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm always looking for any motivational and productivity tips myself. So please leave them in the comments down below. And I hope you all guys having a good day. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much, guys.